The Lucas Oil ASCS Show. Your weekly stop for news and talk from America's largest sprint car series on America's fastest motorsports website, RacinBoys.com.
Welcome, everyone, to the Lucas Oil ASCS Show. I'm Scott Traylor, live from RacinBoys.com studio, not out in the field after a grinding weekend at both the Salina High Bank Speedway and the Ditch down in West Memphis, Riverside International Speedway. What a great weekend. Wayne Johnson picks up a win along with Seth Bergman on the national side, and we're going to be talking a little bit about the ASCS regions. We've got the ASCS regional headlines coming up here in a little bit with Kirk Elliott, and we've got Jonathan Cornell, who is currently the point leader in the ASCS Warrior region. They're going to be racing down at Lucas Oil Speedway this weekend, so we'll be talking to him. But joining us now on the show is the voice of the Lucas Oil ASCS National Tour, a friend of RacinBoys, Brian Hobart. Brian, how you doing, my friend?
I'm doing all right.
Hey, you got your wheels back under you after that long weekend?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a long way till we get to Speed Week.
Nope. See, I didn't want to think about that. It might put me into some kind of coma before we even get there. But a great weekend of racing at a track that we started off at this weekend that I hadn't been to, and the National Tour hadn't been there since 2001 when Wayne Johnson picked up a win. And, oh, by the way, he picks up his second National Tour win in a row. It's only 11 years later at Salina High Bank Speedway.
Yeah, I mean, Wayne, he earned that thing, even though he started up front. I mean, of course, he earned his starting position, but he was the class of the field by far. And then to go into Saturday, and, of course, we'll get to that in a little bit, I think he proved he may be one of the toughest drivers on the tour.
Yeah. What a pretty good battle, as you said. It seemed like Wayne's car was the best all night, but we saw a guy that got him a podium finish, and he really needed it in the worst way. He'd been having a string of bad luck. Jack Dover picks up a third-place finish and gets a podium. Yeah,
Jack did really well. In the last restart they had in that race, his engine been stumbling on the restarts and unfortunately could not hold off Brian Brown. But, I mean, Brown did a fantastic job, and I really have to think if they could have gotten into lap traffic, I think Jack really could have given Wayne a run for his money. But the caution kept the field kind of together on that deal. So, I mean, nonetheless, you can't take that win away from Wayne. He definitely earned that. And, of course, Friday night, a fantastic show, a fantastic facility to the Salina High Banks. That's probably one of if not the most beautiful facility I've ever seen. Of course, I haven't been to Lucas Oil Speedway yet, but that is definitely one of the nicest I've ever been to.
Brian, I got to say that since we've been out on the national tour this year, starting out at Canyon and going over to Yuma and Devil's Bowl and this weekend, the crowd and the attendance is way up this year. The word is starting to get around that if you want to see the best sprint car racing on dirt, you need to go see an ASCS National Tour, and the people are showing up and proving that.
Well, and some people might say, well, you know, that race at Salina seemed like a really small crowd. Well, you have to understand, those stands, over 7,000 people, and pretty much the entire top half of the stands from end to end had people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there was still a good crowd out there. There was a good crowd down in the pits. I mean, but like you said, every show we've been to has had really good crowds, and then Saturday night we went down to the Ditch, and that place was packed.
Yeah, let's talk about the Ditch. Boy, a lot of storylines going into that. The night before, Jason Johnson not having one of his better nights. He had an ignition problem early, then he had to go in the B. He had a right front shock come off of the B, and he didn't get the finish that he was hoping for down at the Salina High Banks. But still, that was a ninth-place finish. Wayne Johnson, with his good finish, took him as the point leader going into the Ditch. And again, Wayne Johnson, he had some luck along the way. He still got him a top 5 finish. But when we talk about luck this time, we're talking about physically, because he had either a muffler or a brake rotor come up and hit him in the face during the middle portion of the Rock and Roll 50, but he was able to stay out there and man up.
Yeah, I mean, it hit him hard enough that it actually shattered the bottom part of his helmet, broke it all the way back to the fiberglass, broke his nose. In fact, his wife posted a picture of the X-ray, and you can see where, I mean, his nose is just completely shifted over. So I think Wayne right there proved his determination and just definitely how tough he is to stay out there to be in that much pain and still manage to finish 5th on that very tight quarter-mile track, because it was right up against the wall in that race, and you had to definitely be elbows up to get it done.
No doubt about it. He showed what kind of man he is, and it was really important for him to get a good finish. He just had single-digit lead going into that race, and here's an opportunity, if Jason, again, having a tough night, to gain some more points or put some more points between him and Jason Johnson, and he did so, putting 32 points now between him and Jason.
Yeah, and Jason, unfortunately, had to take a second provisional of the season, so he'd already used up his full points provisional. Now his second points, even if he had won the race, the best he could have done was 10th place points, and
right.
That has hurt him, and he's already looking at the big picture and when do we get our next full points provisional. So he's already looking down the road because he's trying to get up there and get that championship. He's trying to take it away from Wayne. And then you got Brady Bacon back there sitting in third. He's 60 points out of the points lead right now, and he's another one. He's been a picture of consistency all year, but I think the biggest story of that entire thing has to be Seth Bergman finally picking up a national tour win. And it talk about one excited young man on the front straightaway.
No doubt.
He did get a little emotional in his interview, and rightfully so.
Sure.
And one person pointed out, and I think this thing may have been rigged. Look at the guitar. Look at his car.
Yeah, no doubt. And it was funny. We're talking about Seth Bergman picking up his first national tour win for Pete Peterson Motorsports. And I know that Pete had to be happy because going into that weekend, they were outside the tow money. They really needed to have a good run to get back into the tow money, and they did that. But one person that we need to mention that looked like he might be on his way to his first national tour win is Brad Loyette. Led a big portion of that race, only to give that up late to Seth.
Yeah, and Brad really, really did a fantastic job. And you have to consider, if that had been our normal 30-lap feature, Brad would have won it.
Yeah.
But with the 50-lap feature, Seth figured out the line through 3 and 4, and that's where he got Brad. It wasn't that Brad slowed down. It wasn't that he, wasn't elbows up through the race. 3 and 4 is what got him, because 3 and 4 slicked off so much. He was pretty much the way his car was set. The only way he could run was right around the bottom, and Seth was able to get up on the top, dime in the corner, shoot down to the bottom, and use the banking and use the moisture to catch the momentum. But here's a kind of a fun fact. After this weekend, even though Brad Loyette has been right there, that close to a national tour win, he is tied right now with Jason Johnson for most laps led this year at 63.
How about that? Wow, that is interesting. But what a battle at one point was between Seth Bergman, Loyette, Gary Taylor, Johnny Herrera, and
Cody Gardner.
Man, those four or five guys were battling, and this was like within a car length of each other for a lot of laps.
Yeah, in the middle of that race, you had Loyette leading Seth trying to run down Loyette, and then you had Gardner and you had Taylor back there, and Gardner and Taylor were a show unto themselves. Those two were, slide job maniacs in almost every other corner. Then they started going after Seth. Well, Seth had to figure out a way to get away from him. He got it done. At the end of the race, you put Johnny Herrera into that thing, and even me and Ben were going, where did Johnny come from?
Right.
Because he was up on the wheel.
Yeah, we expect that out of Johnny Herrera, though, to be honest with you. He's proved time and time again. He can start deep in the field, and he knows how to work his way to the front. There's a handful of guys that we see do that from time to time. Jason Johnson comes to mind. Wayne Johnson comes to mind. Shane Stewart was that way when he ran with us last year. Brady Bacon does it. And again, Johnny Herrera, you can always count on him to make a run. I mean, let's face it. He came within 1 point of winning the championship last year, so he knows how to get it done behind the wheel of one of the national tour cars.
Well, and Johnny, he grew up on the bull rings, and that track was all too fitting for him.
Yeah, it really was.
And definitely all too fitting for Seth, because look at where he came from in Washington. The bulk of the tracks they run on up there are the smaller quarter-mile tracks. So, you could almost say he may have had an edge over everybody going into that because of his style of driving.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, Brian, we're up here obviously in Missouri, Kansas City, and just a couple hours away from us this weekend is the ASCS Warrior Region race down at Lucas Oil Speedway, a place where the National Tour is going to go a couple times this year. Jonathan Cornell, he's the current point leader over Chad Eli. That is one great facility. We should have a good show down there this weekend.
Oh, most definitely. Every video I've ever seen of racing from Lucas Oil Speedway, the racing has always been good, and really looking forward to being able to make my debut at that track, and really just looking forward to being able to compete out there. And looking back at the past winners with the Warrior Region, Jason Johnson, Tim Crawley, and Brian Brown have all won with the Warrior Region. Mm-hmm. Jason and Tim, though, that was with the National Tour whenever they ran co-sanctioned events there. Brian Brown the only winner so far with just the ASCS Warrior Regions presented by Speedway Motors. So it'll be interesting to see who can put their name up there next.
I cannot wait to hear you on those Bose speakers down there, bud. It's going to sound good. That's all I can tell you.
No, I mean, the racing is what I'm really looking forward to, because we have got such a great group of guys this year, and just looking at the statistics leading up to, after our 9th race and looking at who all has heat race wins and B-main wins and how many cars everybody's passed, this is shaping up to be a huge season.
Brian, anything else you want to get in before we let you go?
Just looking forward to our next race, May 11th and 12th down at I-30 with Little Rock, Hammer down at Hammer Hill, just like the commercial says, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Tracy Clay, Joe Clay, and everybody down there always prepare a great facility for us. And definitely looking forward. That's another track I haven't been to, and definitely heard a lot about it over the years, and my family's been fortunate enough to race their cars there, and they've always had good things to say. So definitely looking forward to our next outing.
Hammer Hill, one of the RacinBoys favorites for sure. Brian, thanks so much for being on the show. We'll talk to you this weekend.
All right, guys.
All right. There you have it, the voice of the Lucas Oil ASCS Sprint Car Dirt Series, Brian Hobart, joining us here on the ASCS show. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have the guy that is the current point leader in the Lucas Oil ASCS Sprint Car Dirt Series, presented by MAV TV National Tour, Wayne Johnson.
As your power steering pump ages, seal leaks may occur, causing the power steering system to lose fluid. Your power steering system may also develop an annoying squeal, and the steering may become more difficult to handle. By using Lucas Power Steering Stop Leak, you will stop the seal leaks, reduce slack in rack and pinions, eliminate the squeals and hard spots in your power steering system. It is guaranteed to stop seal leaks or your money back. Lucas Power Steering Stop Leak. It works.
Welcome back to the Lucas Oil ASCS show. I want to thank Brian Hobart for being on in segment number 1. Joining us now is the current leader of the Lucas Oil ASCS Sprint Car Dirt Series National Tour points. And, he had quite an interesting night on Saturday night after picking up a win at the Salina High Bank Speedway just outside of Salina, Oklahoma. Wayne Johnson joins us now. Wayne, how you doing, my friend?
Oh, I'm doing good, Scott. No, you can't kill a good man down, right?
Yeah, that's what they say. But before we talk anything that happened on Friday and Saturday night, first of all, give us an update. Did we ever figure out what actually hit you in the face? Was it a muffler? Was it a brake rotor? Or do we know what actually hit you during that race?
I'm not 100% sure. All I seen was,
something dark.
It was black and about the size of a caliper or a muffler, because they're about the same size. And I'm not 100% sure. It came in there way too fast for me to figure out what it was, but it sure knocked the crap out of me, let me tell you.
Yeah, and Wayne, have you figured out what lap you figured that happened on? I mean, you thought maybe 10 laps before that red, maybe?
Well, honestly, about when, if you can go back, and if anybody can go back and see when Johnny Herrera passed me back, I mean, I got by him pretty early, and he passed me at some point there. It was about then, because I can honestly say that was when it happened. He had got by me, and I just kind of followed him because I was kind of a little bit out of it, to be honest. There was about 3 laps. I can honestly tell you that I don't remember anything.
You were dazed, right?
Yep, dazed and confused, and I don't know, I'm sure everybody just listening has been punched in the nose at one time or another, and
yeah.
I couldn't see anything. I really don't know how I even did it, to be honest. It was adrenaline is a bad thing.
It really is. And so then the red comes out. You pull down into the infield, and the safety, they're all paying attention to what's going on with Gary, rightly so, because that was pretty scary, the fire and everything, and his car burning up like that. But you finally got one of your crew members over there, and then you got the safety people over there. You put some, you put some gauze or something up in your nose to keep it from bleeding, right?
Yeah, it wasn't actually any of my crew guys. I rolled in the infield, on purpose there to get somebody, because I really didn't know how bad I was hurt. I knew I was bleeding, and I knew something hit me pretty good lick, but I didn't know how bad I was hurt or whatever. And I rolled in there, and like I say, all the safety workers run to Gary, which rightfully so, because, that was a heck of a fire.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who the guy was. There was this guy, he might have been a photographer, I don't know. Somebody standing in the infield, I hollered at him and said, "Hey, come here." I said, "I'm going to take this helmet off. I need you to tell me how bad actually I look, see what's going on here." As soon as I pulled that helmet off, he was hollering at the paramedics and everything else, so I knew right away it wasn't good.
Yeah, right.
And like I say, they came over there and they said, "Oh man, you're done. You got to get out of this car. I got to put you in the ambulance." And I said, "No, not for another 6 laps. I don't think so."
Yeah. Don't you know where I'm at in the points and what's going on here? Yeah.
So they gave me some gauze and some water and stuff to kind of clean myself up and get my composure. And then Emmett had showed up and my helmet was pretty broke. And he said, "Man, you can't go with that helmet. You got to get another helmet." And I said, "Listen, I don't want to do anything to jeopardize having to go to the back or anything." And he just said, "No, that's a safety issue or whatever. We'll get you another helmet." They got another helmet out of the trailer, and we finished the last 6 laps. And that's really about the size of it. And went to get checked out there just to make sure. Went to the hospital just to make sure. I had my jaw was really sore, and I thought maybe it had dislocated or maybe broke my jaw too. And so that's why they decided to put me in the ambulance and take me on over there or whatever, which I'm glad I did because now I got a peace of mind knowing nothing's, too severe, I guess you could say.
Yeah, nothing that's going to keep you from showing up at Little Rock.
Oh, no.
No, not.
Actually, nothing that's going to keep me from racing this weekend. We're actually going to go run a 5,000 win 360 race in Jackson, Minnesota on Friday and going to run the 410 at Knoxville on Saturday.
All right. Okay.
Unless the doctor tomorrow tells me that
take a week off.
That I need to do surgery or something, and then we got to evaluate the situation, see what we got to do there.
Now you're not going to show up with a flat nose. You said maybe hooking a little bit to the right now?
Oh yeah, a little bit to the right there, a little bit ugly, but I was already ugly, so it don't matter.
Well, I was going to say, I don't know how you and your wife, that's not a lateral move you made right there, so I don't know. You're doing something right there, bud. I will tell you that. Hey, let's step back to the Salina High Bank Speedway, a track that was just lightning fast, and you pick up your second national tour win there on Friday night.
Yeah, that's a racetrack that I really enjoy. We've always went to for a long time there, and I grew up right around, Oklahoma there, running all those racetracks. And, we normally get around there pretty good. So I was excited about going back there, and our race car was working really good that night. Emmett Hahn even made a comment that he could have drove that thing, and I believe anybody could because we had that thing working good. But, really look forward to going there and running that race and getting a win, and just really momentum is really going our way right now, and this race car just seems to get better and better and better.
Yeah. You know what I picked up on Friday night at Salina? I picked up your restarts, man. You were really switching it up. One time you'd wait till you rolled all the way around to the front straightaway. Other time you'd be in the middle of 4. Man, you were pulling out all your trick bags on those starts.
Well, that's just one of those deals that you got to do. You got to keep them always guessing. These guys don't need to know when you're going to start the race, and that's part of being a leader, And at Wichita, I let Jason we run a NCRA race up there earlier this year, and I let Jason kind of sneak me on the restart there. I timed it in the same place too many times and let him get a run on me, and that's when he got that slide job on me and got by me. But just knowing that not to make those mistakes again,
Yeah, right. Well, Wayne, I know me and you, we talk a lot. I like coming down there. Sometimes you get on me because I have it coming. I'll just leave it at that. Sometimes I have that coming. But other times we're just down there shooting the bull. And I know every time we talk about these point deals, you always say, "Oh, man, I'm not worried about these points." But the fact is there's $60,000 on the line here to win this national championship. That's a lot of money to win. Now you've got a 32-point lead over Jason Johnson, who had a bad night. Again, about this point race, man. I mean, you want your 2000 champion. It's been a long time since you've been out here full time on the national tour. What would it mean to pick up your second national championship?
Well, it definitely means a lot. Being a brand new team and all the people that are involved with this thing, and going back to a couple years ago of not really knowing what I was going to do from year to year, and just really excited about it. It would mean a lot to not just me but my wife also. And for one, we'd make a little more money, so that she's always going to be happy about that. But
right.
Just it's going to be a long, hard fought season, and I know that. Jason's a really tough competitor, and he's no pushover. He's not going to go away. So we're just going to have to keep doing what we're doing, and not only him. Brady's right there, Herrera's coming, and and GW. You never know about OJ, right? He could get on a row and win 8 or 9 of these things in a row, and then we could all be in trouble. But,
and Brady's been really consistent too. Yeah.
Yep, that's the big thing. We just got to keep doing what we're doing and make sure we're not having part failures and just doing our maintenance. And the driver got to keep doing the maintenance that he's doing. Heck, got up this morning, got in the gym, ran 3 miles. So broke with an all, but
yeah,
just got to keep doing what we're doing and feeling good, and just keep working hard. That's the biggest thing. I got so many people involved now, Scott, that I've and I don't want to let anybody down. I want to do my job, and that's why I'm staying on top of what we're doing as much as possible.
And let me ask you this: would you consider yourself and Jason a rivalry?
You can call it what you want. I'm just a racer and he's just a racer, and if they, as you and the media, if you guys want to make it a rivalry, it don't matter to me. I'm okay with whatever. I just, I know he's doing the same thing I'm doing. We're going out there running our races and just doing the best we can, and unfortunately they have had some bad luck, and we've kind of taken advantage of it. But the tables can turn at any moment. So we just gotta, just keep doing what we're doing. That's all I can say.
All right, man. Don't be mad at me if I make this a rivalry, okay? Because we need it. I mean, I think you and I talked about this a little bit on Saturday. You've got to have rivalries to really take the series to the next level. I mean, we had Jason and we had Shane. It was kind of their rivalry here as of late. Shane's gone now. You've stepped in. You guys are both winning your share of races. You're both getting top 5 finishes, just knocking them out right and left. You haven't finished out of the top 5 all year, by the way. So, I mean, I think it's great, and I think it's great for the national tour that the two of you are going to battle it out for this championship. And I'm with you, though. I think Brady Bacon and Gary Wright and Johnny Herrera, I think all these guys could be a player in this by the end of it, though.
Yeah, you're definitely right. The competition level at this deal is I don't know where you can go anywhere at any series, Outlaws, USAC, or any weekly show in the country and get the kind of, the competition level that we have. And Emmett's really done a good job with that. And I just hope that everything just keeps rolling the way it is. I mean, it's a great series, and I hope they get all the stuff that they got involved right now, which we've talked about in the past, under wraps. And I just know Emmett's a hard worker, and they'll get it all figured out. And hopefully this series will just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and if we keep getting it, make it bigger and bigger, the money's going to get bigger and bigger. So just looking forward to that.
If it's any indication by the crowds that we've had at every race so far this year, it looks like things going in the right direction. That was the biggest ASCS crowd in the history of the ditch last weekend. So I think we're headed in the right direction. It has a lot to do with guys like you and Jason, Brady, and Johnny, and Gary, and Loyette, and Tony Bruce, and everybody else that's involved. So Wayne, thanks so much for taking the time to be on the show, man, and congratulations on taking over the point lead. And, man, we're glad to see that you're okay. That was pretty scary when we heard what happened. So we're glad to see that you're okay, and we're looking forward to seeing you this weekend.
All right, I appreciate having me on, and it's 2 weeks, Scott. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
No, I might see you somewhere this weekend. You never know.
Oh, okay, buddy. Well, we'll see you then.
All right. See you, Wayne.
All right, thank you.
Bye. All right, bye. That's Wayne Johnson. Yeah, he makes me want to kind of – I know I'm going down to I'm going to go down to Lucas Oil Speedway this weekend, but, man, Jackson, Minnesota, that might be a little bit of a stretch for a Friday night, maybe. So, all right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have Saturday night's winner, Seth Bergman, joins me on the Lucas Oil ASCS show when we come back.
If you haven't tuned in to MAV TV lately, you don't know what you're missing. With a fresh lineup of original programming featuring movies, action, lifestyle, comedy, and more, MAV TV is geared up to deliver excitement the whole family can enjoy. Whether you're a motorhead, travel enthusiast, movie buff, or anything in between, MAV TV is your new home for great programming. Request MAV from your provider or visit mavtv.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Lucas Oil ASCS show here on RacinBoys.com. We want to thank Wayne Johnson for joining us in segment number one, along with Brian Holbert. Joining us now is the winner of the Rock and Roll 50 down at the ditch last weekend. He picks up his first national tour win, and I was happy to see that. Seth Bergman joins us. Seth, congratulations, bud.
Hey, thanks, man. Pretty neat weekend, I guess, overall.
Yeah, not too bad. So let's get right into it. We could talk about the Salina High Banks if we wanted to, but I think we'll just stay on what happened down at the Rock and Roll 50. What a race, man. I mean, that's the way you want to do it. Go up there and have to pass somebody for the win and then check out on them. But Just take us through the first portion of that race, the first, say 40 laps or so, and where were you at mentally, and as the race was going on, did you realize you might have a car that's capable of winning?
Yeah, mentally, before the race started, we're not involved in very many 50-lap races. I think that's probably the only one that I'll run, or that anybody will run all year. So going into that, that in 50 laps, 24 sprint cars is definitely going to tear that racetrack up a little bit. So, I wanted to be tight and good at the end, so I had to be too tight early in the race. You know what I mean? So
until it burned off some fuel, right?
Well, I was a little bit worried. My plan was just to maintain at the beginning of the race and hopefully have a car good enough to win at the end. And the green came out. We were good enough at the beginning to hang and race for the lead, and I was too tight the whole time. And then, as the race started wearing on, my car it kept getting better and better as the laps ticked off. And I knew I was good enough to win. I was just kind of waiting for the right moment. And when it finally came, I think about 3/4 of the way through the race, I felt like we were just in our prime there, and was able to take advantage of a little bit of a mistake that Brad made, and we were gone from there.
Let's step back before you went up there and battled Loyette for the lead. Man, you had a pretty fierce battle for that second spot to get up there. That went on for several laps.
Yeah, I don't know who it was or whatnot, but
I think it was Roller, wasn't it?
Up there with
wasn't it Roller? Was it Roller, the
guys
five?
That run around that area. I'm not sure who it was, but those guys were racing hard, and they were a little bit too aggressive early in that race than I wanted to be. I knew it was a 50-lapper, and they were. A couple of them were racing like it was a 15-lap race. So, when we got single filed out, I was able to work on the 5 car and ended up getting around him a little ways into it. And then, I just set my sights on Brad and went to work on him.
Yeah. I know you and Roller, that was really close to getting into each other going down the back straightaway when you finally got into that second spot. And then you ran down Brad, and I had a little conversation with you after the race, and I thought it was hilarious because I've been down this road myself before years ago. You found yourself kind of not breathing as the race was going on once you got in the lead. Tell everybody about that a little bit.
Yeah, I guess, I don't know. Maybe I forgot to breathe for a couple laps when I got into the thick of things there. But about 3/4 of the way through the race there, I kind of started breathing a little bit heavier than I wanted to, too. I think I got lucky that red came out, so I was able to sit there and catch my breath for a little bit because I got caught up in racing, and apparently I forgot to breathe for a lap or so. So that red flag was probably a blessing for me, so I could just catch my breath and move on.
That red flag really almost reached out and bit you as well. We're looking at some video. You were going down the back straightaway, and then Gary Wright got it tangled up with those cars down there, and that was right in front of you. Take us through that portion, and how close was it for you getting into that?
I felt like it was a lot closer than maybe it was on video. I'm not sure how close it was, but all I know is I think I just got the lead, and I was coming up on a group of lap cars, and I was planning on swinging to the top and diamonding in that corner like I had been, and I got up top, and the next thing I know, everybody got together that was right next to me, and all I saw was a car flipping at me, and I was hoping and praying that he didn't come up there and get into us, and it just worked out that we were able to get through it, and didn't get any damage or anything, so that was good.
That was kind of a scary deal with watching Gary's car burn up like that as well. It was a good thing he was able to get out of that thing pretty quick. That was a pretty bad deal right there. So you restart, and you immediately pull away from Brad at the start of that race. Did you feel like you had any cushion, or did you run those last couple laps when you knew you were coming around for that white, and when you got the white flag, were you pushing it as hard as you could right there? Did you feel any pressure? Because, he was back there quite a ways from you. Where were you at right there?
Yeah, after that last red or caution or whatever we had there, I knew there was 6 to go, and I knew we were good, but I was going to drive as hard as I could and try to get some distance, because you never know. The guys that we raced against and Brad, you never know. It just takes one mistake or one, bad entry to a corner or something, and they're all over you and they get around you. So, I definitely wanted to finish out as strong, as fast as I could them last 6 laps. Everybody said I had pretty good distance there at the end, but the whole time I felt like Brad was just breathing right down the back of it. So, I was driving as hard as I could till we hit that checkered.
Well, and knowing that there was a lot at stake right there. Let's face it, Seth, you've had a pretty rough year this year. You've shown some speed in your car, but for whatever reason, you just haven't been able to close the deal and get the good runs that you were hoping for, but this really helped, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think rough year so far is an understatement up until this weekend. It's just, we've been fast and we've been in the top 10. It just seems like I'm always in that situation that you don't want to be in here recently, just a car will spin out and I'll get collected or I'll get a flat tire or something before the race. And it's been bad luck, but, I'm hoping this weekend, it felt like for me it was a big momentum changer. So I'm hoping that we can just build off of this weekend and keep striving and moving up in the points and, just continuing to run up front.
I've got to know your car owner the last couple of years, Pete Peterson Motorsports, and just what was he like when you talked to him the first time after that win? I was hopeful that he was listening on the broadcast, but what did he say to you after picking up that first national tour?
That's he was kind of speechless like me. We were talking to each other, and he was congratulating me, and I was telling him how much I appreciated his support because these last couple months haven't been easy, but I felt like he hasn't lost faith in me. He always keeps faith in me and how I run the team, and for me to be able to call him and tell him that we finally picked one of these up that we've been working on together for a while, he was equally, if not more, happy than I was to finally win one as a car owner.
Yeah, well, rightly so. I mean, it takes a lot of money to beat up and down the road, and sometimes when you're not in the tow money, I think you got back in the tow money this week, though, didn't you, after that race?
Yeah, I think we moved into ninth. So, that took a lot of pressure off, too, because running up and down the highway, I mean, that's a lot of money. And when you get that extra money, you show up to the racetrack, it takes a lot of weight off of me knowing that additional money isn't coming out of my car owner's pocket.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Well, hey, listen, I got to just say this little conversation that you and I had. I'm not trying to boast here a little bit or take any credit for anything, but what the fact is, man, we had a chance to hang out. We both stayed over at Tony Bruce Jr.'s house the night before we went over to Salina because it was close to there, and we were bumming electricity from him. That's what people say that is, bumming electricity.
When you're out here.
I'm learning that now that I've got the motorhome out there. You got to bum that electricity whenever you're in town so you don't burn up that diesel fuel. Right. So anyway, we went out and ate, and we were kind of hanging out. You were kind of, telling me how you were bumming, with all the bad luck and everything. And right before the night started down there at the ditch, I came up there and talked to you, and I don't know if it was good luck or not, but I'm going to take a little credit for it. I said, tonight's the night, man. You're going to get that monkey off your back. And you looked up at me, and you had that look on your face like, man, I hope you're right. And it turned out okay.
I don't know if that was it or not, but I hope, man, you should come down every night now, and we should have a little speech or something before we go out.
Yeah, a little motivational speech, right? That's it. Well, Seth, congratulations, man. I couldn't be happier for you. You've been doing a great job out there on the tour, and it's really easy to get, down and out when you're having bad luck, but this ought to put a little pep in your step, and you got to be ready to get to Little Rock here in 2 weeks and pick it up again.
It does. It definitely put a pep in the whole team's step right now, and, it helped in all aspects, just from being down, and now I feel like the momentum's changed, and I'm really looking forward to the rest of the season and these next few weeks to hopefully keep building on it and just getting better and better. I feel like our team is kind of coming in. We're still learning. We're a new team, but I feel like we're coming into our own right now, and I feel like we're making good progress. And we finally got a result this weekend to show it. So hopefully we can just keep building and things just keep going up for us.
Where are you going this weekend on an off week?
Well, I think I'm going to go back to Creek County. There's ASCS region race there Friday, and then I think we're going over to the Lucas Oil Speedway. I think it's not far from you guys there on Saturday.
Yep, I think I'll come down there myself on Saturday and watch that race. Well, listen, Seth, congratulations, man. Happy for you. I'm happy for Pete, too, because I know that was a big deal for him, and hopefully this weekend you got that confidence going and rolling, and maybe you can pick up a regional win and take all that down to Little Rock here in 2 weeks. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I hope so. Maybe we can, be like 77 car or something and get a few in a row here, and we just keep rolling on. But I appreciate you giving me a call and having me on. It's a pretty neat weekend for me, and I'm definitely going to enjoy it all week.
All right, man. Thanks for being on the show.
Yep, thank you.
All right. There you have it. That's Seth Bergman, a good guy. And you know what? the pressure was on. I know for a fact the pressure was on to pick up his performance. I mean, anytime somebody is shelling out the bucks for you to travel up and down the road, they would like for you to be at least in the tow money. And now that he's in the tow money, he's getting that guaranteed money when he shows up to the track. That's going to take a little pressure off of Pete Peterson. And my gut tells me that this is the beginning of turning the season around for Seth Bergman. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to have Kirk Elliott join us here in the studio. We're going to be talking a little bit about what's going on in the ASCS regions right here on the Lucas Oil ASCS show.
Next to your car's engine, your transmission is the second most important component of your car. If it's not properly maintained, your car may not shift properly. By adding Lucas Transmission Fix to your transmission, it cleans and lubricates sticking valves for proper shifting, renews worn bands to stop slipping, stops most seal leaks, will not void new car warranties, contains no harmful solvents. Lucas Transmission Fix. It works.